It's really amazing what you've overcome from being in a gang and some poverty and things like that. I mean, it must be so surreal for you to be here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty crazy feeling, like, to look back and think like 6-7 years ago I was doing some pretty ridiculous stuff to now it's a pretty big leap and turnaround. So it's a great feeling. I'm so happy to be here.
All my life, been grinding all my life.
I mean, in high school when we were running track, you know, he got stabbed like, how many times was it run? 3 times? He got stabbed 3 times, and then what, weeks later breaks the state record, you know what I mean? Like, that's a story in itself. We could do a whole documentary on just that one, you know, scene. And that's just one part of it.
With a massive lead, Usain Bolt running hard down the straight, trying to reel him in. He's closing with every stride, but Bailey looks to have a big enough advantage.
Ryan Bailey from Portland, Oregon.
If someone just were to meet Ryan right now, you think, oh, cool, you know, athlete, this, that, but it's like, there's so much to it that people don't realize until they take a time to talk, you know. But I feel like those experiences really shape you, you know what I mean? And he wears his heart on his sleeve.
So growing up, we were like extremely poor. Me and my mom were homeless for about a year. She was homeless for a year, living in a car. I was with her for about 6 months at that time. And then she sent me to live with one of her friends until she could find a place. So, I mean, that was pretty tough, especially, you know, going to school and kids knowing that you don't have anything, wearing the same clothes to school every day. So, yeah, it was tough, but, you know, we got past it. And then, you know, once we moved past something else always popped up. So it was always a struggle with one thing or another. Then it was gangs and me getting kicked out of all the schools, and then I got stabbed in high school, and, like, you know, it was all kinds of stuff that me and my mom both had to get through together, and I don't know, it was a struggle.
My name's John Parks. I've been Ryan Bailey's coach on and off, but mostly on since 2005. From Alabama originally, where I coached and went to Auburn University. You know, one of the things that was a challenge for Ryan is his very first race, he breaks his toe because he had no spikes. He didn't tell me that this ones he was using were like 2.5 sizes too small. He takes 2 steps out, breaks his toe because of that, and then still tried to run again. I'm like, no, we're done. And so basically missed almost his entire sophomore year because of that.
My very first race, my sophomore year, I was running the first leg for our relay. You know, I didn't have spikes. Obviously we couldn't afford them, so just went and borrowed some from a teammate, and was a little bit small, a little on the small side, about 2.5 sizes too small, but I squeezed my foot in them. And very first step I took out of the blocks, I felt like this pop in my toe. Finished the race, took the spikes off, my foot was huge, just swollen. And so I ended up breaking my toe right there, and that was the end of like the first half of the season basically. Came back for another race, did the same thing, borrowed some spikes, just too small, but I still tried it and ended up breaking my other toe. So didn't finish that race. But yeah, I mean, it was a struggle, man. Like, I thought I could do it, make it work, just young and dumb.
And then he had some football struggles because of the injury his sophomore year, and then his junior year he got injured in a car wreck, and then had some issues with trying to get out of the gang. He finally realized, like, I got to get out of this gang. Had to fight his way out of the gang. That got him in trouble with the school because it was on school property down at the park, and so he ended up in a really tight spot.
When the last time you was here?
2012.
State champion in the 100 and 200 meters at Salem's McKay High School in 2007. As Ryan was running away from a past life of running with the wrong crowd.
When I was in high school, he'd always tell me, you're gonna be an Olympian, you're gonna be an Olympian. Stop trying to get all these autographs and blah, blah, blah. And for me to actually make the team was a pretty big deal for me.